Greetings, everyone. Hope all of you are having an absolutely fantastic day. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. What an incredible night for gaming. First and foremost, let's get the obvious out of the way. Huge congratulations to Larian Studios. In my opinion, they deserve all the awards and all the recognition that they have received. Baldur's Gate 3 for me was an incredible gaming experience. I've made a video already about some of the weaknesses that I think the game has, some of its flaws, and that content still absolutely 100% reflects the way that I feel. But that first time that I played the game with a good aligned character, man, that was a gaming experience that I'll always remember. And I am so happy to see that team rewarded for being able to craft that type of game that touched not only me, but so many other people as well. I know that Baldur's Gate 3 has gotten a lot of positive feedback since the game came out, but honestly, if you've been paying attention, Larian has been catching a lot of negative feedback as well, with people trying to tear them down and tear into their accomplishments. Try to say, well, it's not really independent. You got help from Wizards of the Coast. You guys just got lucky. All sorts of nonsense. Trying to say, well, of course, you made a game in D&D, a Baldur's Gate. Of course it was going to do well. No, that's not true at all. This game absolutely could have crashed and burned. It could have absolutely been terrible. It could have absolutely been a commercial disaster that had a truly negative impact on Larian Studios. And none of that happened because they put so much care and dedication into the game. And they should absolutely be recognized for that. To see the lead writer in the crowd literally in tears once it was announced that they had won Game of the Year, incredible moment. Absolutely incredible moment. Just really made me happy to see them all get the respect that honestly I feel that they deserve. So, I think outside of the awards and all the recognition, what will be really interesting to watch about Baldur's Gate 3 is what sort of impact it has on the industry, on RPGs, and even more specifically CRPGs. I'll be honest with you, I don't see this as the wave that kind of lifts all boats. I know many people say that Divinity Original Sin 2 got a lot more people interested in CRPGs and helped to expand the genre, expand the industry. I don't agree. I'll be honest with you. I don't agree with that. I don't feel like Divinity Original Sin 2 created a lot of new CRPG players. I feel like Larian is kind of its own beast, right? And there are players who just absolutely love Larian and the games that they make. But it doesn't necessarily expand to, oh, well, I love this game, so I'm going to play Rogue Trader. Or I love this game, so I'm going to play, Wasteland 3. It's just, I love this game. In fact, you can easily go on Twitter and see rows and rows and rows of people saying, I keep trying to play other games, but all I do is think about Baldur's Gate 3 and all this looks so inferior compared to Baldur's Gate 3, So I think it'll be interesting to see, does this game force developers to be more creative, to raise their standards, to essentially make better games in anticipation of being compared to Baldur's Gate 3? But then also, does it end up drawing more attention to RPGs, or again, even more specifically, CRPGs, and essentially expand the player base that a lot of those developers will be able to draw upon? Again, it's early, so we don't know. We'll have to see the next couple of years what kind of impact Baldur's Gate 3 has. But my answer is no. I think, again, Larian is kind of its own universe, and that's why people are always on pins and needles waiting for that next Larian game, because what they're providing, you're just not getting from any other studio. So once again, huge kudos to them. So happy to see all of the awards and recognition, and looking forward to what comes next. Now, I honestly usually do not care about the Game Awards. I'm not somebody who's waiting on the edge of their seat to see what game is going to get Game of the Year. So I really don't bother paying attention to this all that much. But there were a couple of other announcements made at the Game Awards that I found super interesting and wanted to talk about. First and foremost, Blade. Wow. Who would have thought that we would get a Blade game? I was happy to just have Blade in Midnight Suns with Michael J. White voicing him, and he looked absolutely perfect. That version of Blade was fantastic, and I was like, "Hey, I'll take this." It absolutely worked for me to see Blade getting his own game. Super cool. So it's being made by Arcane Lion Studios, which is the same group that made Dishonored 1 and 2 and Deathloop. I feel like the Dishonored series was absolutely critically acclaimed and very well received, while Deathloop, it seemed like a lot of people were divided on it. It seems like there's some who really like it and some who really hate it. Doesn't seem like people are really land in between. I played the first Dishonored and absolutely loved it. I tried to play the second Dishonored. It didn't hold my attention. It bored me after the first few hours for some reason. I can't put my finger on why it is, but I let that game go, and then I never got into Deathloop, so I can't give you an opinion on whether or not it's exciting that Arcane is the studio developing Blade. I'm kind of neutral on that and just hoping that they do a good job. I can tell you that I'm a little tired of the cell look that it seems like they use for every single game. You know, maybe it'll be updated and have a different spin on it when Blade comes out. That'll make me feel differently. But just looking at the trailer, I'm like, this is like looking at Deathloop all over again. But one thing that Arcane is definitely known for is creating unique gameplay loops and just gameplay mechanics for you to use. You may not like the mechanics, but they are typically unique and something where you could tell they put some effort into it. And so having a Blade game in the hands of people that I know are going to put some real care into how he's handled and what sort of things you can do with him, really cool, really interested in it. The game is going to be based in France, which is interesting. If you had told me there's going to be a Blade game and asked me where's this game going to be, France absolutely would not be my first option. But that should hopefully give the developer the opportunity to put us on some situations and some environments that you might not typically see in games. So really cool stuff. I can't tell based upon just this first clip, but offhand, it sounded to me like he's voiced by Michael J. White. Could not be the case, though. I hope it is. Again, I feel like he did a fantastic job with Blade and Midnight Suns, and I don't see any reason Marvel wouldn't just spin the block on it and have him voice him for this game again. But regardless, I'll be doing a ton of content for this game. I can tell you that right now. I really want this to be successful. Blade is a character that I absolutely love. Those old Wesley Snipes movies are near and dear to my heart. So to see this, wow, super cool moment for me, and hoping this game gives us a true Blade experience. And then the other announcement that was provided during the Game Awards that I thought was really interesting was the game Exodus. So this is a game from a studio called Archetype Entertainment. It's actually owned by Wizards of the Coast, I guess. I guess they've created their own gaming studio. I didn't pay attention to this news when it came out, but it's being headed up by old BioWare devs. So the lead person for this particular game is James Olin, who worked on Dragon Age Origins, Knights of the Old Republic, and Baldur's Gate. And there's a couple of other old BioWare developers that have joined in this effort and are helping to work on this game. Not David Gator, as far as I know, but some of the other ones have joined in, which automatically makes me interested in it. I've mentioned it before. BioWare, up until recently, was always my favorite developer. And the only developer that I had like real loyalty towards, where everything that BioWare came out with, I would pretty much purchase it. Now with the layoffs and the issues with the way they treated their previous devs, all of that is kind of shot. But these people are from the old school version of BioWare that I definitely still have a soft spot for. And the game itself seems very, very interesting. It's science fiction. It definitely is giving off strong Mass Effect vibes, but it's going to deal a lot with time dilation. You basically play as a traveler who goes through these warp portals in order to try to find special artifacts or equipment and fight against a group called the Celestials, which is an alien race that is at direct odds with humanity. But the interesting thing is, when you go on these missions, what's days for you is months for essentially the home planet of Earth. And consequently, your decisions can have serious impacts for people, and you'll see how they've been affected for long stretches of time. In fact, I believe I've seen the word generations used in reference to this game. And I don't feel like we've seen that kind of game mechanic used before, where basically you make a decision and then you get to see, all right, a year later, 10 years later, whatever, how this decision impacted all of these people. And so very, very interested in this. They brought out Matthew McConaughey on stage to help announce the game, because apparently he's going to be voicing one of the characters. So it'll be interesting to see what other voice talent they brought in as well. And they also mentioned that they've collaborated with multiple award-winning sci-fi authors. So it'll be interesting to see who they've gotten to assist with crafting this story, and whether or not it provides a true sci-fi experience similar to Mass Effect. Of course, Mass Effect is brought up in comparison to this multiple times, and right off the bat, what I'll tell you is, looking at this teaser trailer, that doesn't tell us a whole lot, but what I will say, looking at it, it seems like it's going to be a situation where you have the humans going against the Celestials, this one alien race. And for me, right off the bat, that means it's not going to be able to provide that authentic feeling sci-fi experience in comparison to Mass Effect. Because the really, really strong aspect of Mass Effect was that it gave you multiple fully fleshed out alien races, right? And to me, that is the flag that really makes it different from any other sci-fi video game you've played before. All of the alien races were absolutely fascinating. You can delve into their histories and cultures, and they feel like creatures that have been alive for thousands and thousands of years, way before they came in contact with humans. And to me, if you're going to make a sci-fi game that is supposed to be able to compete with Mass Effect, your game has to, at least on some level, be able to do the same thing. And not say, all right, well, it's a group of humans against this one group of aliens. Now, off the top of my head, I'm going to say that's not really going to cut it. That's not really going to cut it. But again, we've only seen this short little trailer. There obviously is a whole lot more to the game. This is absolutely something I'm going to be tracking quite a bit. And hopefully it gives us yet another fantastic science fiction game to play. Of course, I'm playing Rogue Trader right now. Mass Effect 5 will be coming out soon. Hopefully that's good. And then we have this as well. So sci-fi fans are definitely eating good right now. But that pretty much wraps up all of my thoughts regarding the Game Awards show. Again, I feel like it was an incredible night for gaming. Oh, and you know what? I do feel like it's worth mentioning the award show was much better than what I've seen in times past. Like, again, I've never been a person to really just sit down and look at the whole thing, but I've watched portions of it before, and this just seemed like it was significantly better. A lot of interesting announcements, a lot of focus on games that are providing players something completely new. And so just all the way around, I feel like this was a great night, and the gaming industry is looking better than ever. Anyway, that's the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Looking forward to hearing you all's feedback in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.